Hello, welcome to Great Reflections Tarot. My name is Lilou Jane and I'm here to do a reading for Aries today. I've already requested the support of all the guides who would like to participate in this reading for a group consciousness that relates to and reflects in Aries. You can find the Aries energy within your astrological chart from multiple directions. So any part of your astrological chart might have Aries in it. So please don't be hung up on the sun sign. It could be the moon sign, the rising, or any other aspects that are relevant to you in the energy of Aries. So it is always worth looking to see what you can see reflecting back to you that harmonizes with your consciousness that picks up for you. Everything in this reading is about what you find reflects back to you and relates to you, and you can pick up on that to help you find clarity. So that's the nature in which we're doing this reading. I've done a pre-shuffle. I do want to let you know I'm obviously outside in my backyard of my property. We have some funny noises around. Some of it is nature's cicadas and some of it is our chickens, and maybe our dog might roll around in the leaves and the dirt and make growly happy noises. So lots of birds. We'll just work through that. It's very hot here, and I'm in Australia. It's very hot, but I feel better doing this outside and sharing my outdoor world with you and all the natural energies that come to help with these readings. In the pre-shuffle, we have the energies they said this keynote of this reading is about is love and transformation. Can you see that? I hope you can. I will look up occasionally just to make sure I've got everything in order. Okay, so let's put them back in the deck. The cards I'm using are the Spellcasting Oracle Cards. That's right, Spellcasting Oracle Cards. Okay, I'll come back a little bit. Yep. Okay. Now, I am starting this new channel. It's not my first time around, not my first rodeo, but it's a new channel that I'm starting with the new energies for the new year of 2023. If you would like to support this channel and help it and help the guides get their messages out through these readings, please, we appreciate your kindness in liking, sharing and subscribing to promote this on the YouTube platform, which allows more people to find it and more guides to participate in this reading. The larger the group that connects to these readings is, the more guides come into it and the more energy comes into the whole reading. And I'm sure that they will find something that chimes with the individuals who connect to this. And just so you know, the way you end up finding readings is your guides help encourage you to find the ones that are relative to you. Most of the time, that's how it works. So I've got some cards I've just flipped out. So let's see what this is about in detail. Now, the first one is grieving. Right, grieving. This card of grieving has a beautiful butterfly. Can you see the beautiful butterfly? And see all the little orbs of light and sparkly energy. This is a moment of transformation. See the light shining out at the top of the butterfly? And see there is a light at the end of a passage. They're in a dark zone of grief, but on the other side of this is light, happiness and freedom, and it looks like a forest. You can't see that very well maybe on the camera, but it looks like a forest through there. So in this internal turning inside energy of deep inner reflection and looking in on the pain of grief, excuse me, my throat will get foggy with readings. There is the orbs of light, the release of energy, and the potential of the metamorphosis of the awakening of the butterfly within. From grief comes the metamorphosis process, the change, the shift, and the release of the old to transform it into something more beautiful. That's what this card is about. That's what I bring you from that card. And following on from that, with our deck, our cards that we just brought out, is healing. So this is the healing process. I've just described the mechanics of the healing process. This card, as I look at it now to bring forward the messages uniquely. Interesting. It looks to me like there's a frog leg and a dragonfly in it, in this strange light-bearing thing that this girl's holding. But it isn't. I'm seeing nature. I'm seeing a frog and I'm seeing a dragonfly come through it. But it's actually her fingers with two rings on. Healing. It's the glowing inner reflection of balancing and allowing the connection to nature. That's why I saw that there, the connection to nature. So the connection to nature is a part of your healing process. Balancing and letting yourself harmonize and connect with nature. I've got Aries in my chart, and I've chosen to do this outside in nature. I've taken my shoes off so that I can ground and earth through this process, because I'm like everybody else, I'm going through the same waves of difficulties and challenges, because we're all in it together. The next card is clarity. So you are in the grieving process. Healing comes through calming, focus and centering, and allowing nature to guide you through that and help you to anchor. Let in your meditative turning in process of dealing with grief, whatever kind of grief that may be. Now, don't forget, grief can be about the world. It can be about the sadness you see and the frustration you find. That can be grief-bearing situations and energy. Grief can lower your energy and keep you stuck down, or it can be transformative, like the butterfly, and it can let you transform and grow even higher. It is like a springboard for the frog, jumping. That's where the frog comes in, jumping and leaping higher. And grief can be that springboard. You will find it very difficult to stay down in the energy of grief. This is not a grieving card of defeat and misery. This is a grieving card of transformation, and that's actually where we are. And it's very difficult to stay in that low energy, because so much high vibration and intense energy is coming through our solar portal, our sun, to us and saturating us, and we have to calibrate up with it, because our frequencies are interactive. So our energy interacts with the energy coming to us and around us. As you may have noticed, if you walk into a room full of people who are really not your kind of people and or like in a downer, a negative, you find it difficult to integrate with them. But if you stayed there, working there for a long time, you start to feel yourself lose connection with your heart center. You'd feel yourself start to find yourself going on a lower vibration and not so happy, not so many highlights in your day. If they're not your kind of people, and they make you feel like they're like low, really like sober, boring, down, no light, no love, you will find that you'll start to lose your sparkle. If you live there, work there all the time, and your challenge in that scenario is to recognize it and make a concerted effort to consecutive effort. So you're going to have to keep on trying. They're saying the word consecutive. You're going to have to keep on trying and keep on focus and bring yourself back to this gorgeous energy of transformation and healing, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be lots of little things that lower your vibration, lower your potential for feeling light and free. And imagine the energy of a light-free butterfly, light and free and flowing. So the clarity you get from the process of dealing with the grief, no matter what that is about or from, the disappointments of life or anything else deeper, the clarity you get from this healing process of connecting to nature, so that's the thing you focus on. Like some people, all my years of life have been focused on spiritual practices and meditation and things like that. Looking for the methodology in my life to help me bring balance. And in meditation, there's a lot of focusing on visualization, on meditation, on something. And that is one of the key points to help you with meditation, to focus on a thing, a theme, a word, a concept. We are encouraging you today to focus on nature and allow nature, the earth, to be your thing, not the misery of the world and the supposed hopelessness of the natural world, because that is not true. The natural world, Chernobyl is an example. They say Chernobyl is a perfect example of how human activity can be very destructive and nature can come back with a real boom. And that's what happened in Chernobyl. So let's just remember that what some will say is total destruction, you can't come back from, is an absolute illusion of silliness. That it's just not the nature we see. It is not the way it is. That's just not the way it is. So don't worry. You can't find any evidence for that, actually. You will find evidence of regrowth coming back with super amount of abundance and energy. That's what you'll find. Evidence of that, yes. Evidence of it's all over, it can't be fixed. Nah, there's no evidence for that at all. So you need to remember that about the earth, and they say about humanity. There is no, it's too late, can't be fixed. No such thing. In fact, what's happening is the world is raising her energy. The whole planet is raising its energy. We are a part of the planet, symbiotically linked to the planet. We are of the planet, in the planet, we are the planet, and we are rising with her. So connecting to Gaia, to the earth and all her abundant manifest creations is the most wonderful way to connect back to yourself. They say that yourself, you're connecting back to yourself because that's what you are. That's who you are. You are one with this world. No matter what anyone around you or the news or anybody else, social media, whatever is going, the consensus of society's constraints, that is a superficial overlay, and it is not the true nature of things. And you can connect to the true nature of things anytime at all. Anytime. Even just by looking at a beautiful picture on your computer, you connect. Your energy connects. The earth is all around you. It's really easy. She's here. You're in it. So you don't feel separated at any time. Connect, harmonize, focus, heal, and balance. Recalibrate back to you, back to your true basic state. The next card. This is so beautiful. Transformation is the next card. And that's what we're just talking. Transformation is always possible. The earth is a continual pot of transformational energy, transformational process. So right now, an awful lot of big, epic natural events are happening. And that is the earth releasing energy. So transformation is the release of energy. Transformation, you release energy to allow new energy, to grow new energy. So you release the energy that doesn't fit the final product of what you're going to be. The event is about releasing what doesn't work toward where you're going and allowing to grow where you're going. Isn't that fascinating? The transformational process is not of something that's completely alien or foreign and different to you. The transformational process, there's the butterfly representing it again, and there's our butterfly in the grieving. The transformational process is circling back around to your natural potential, just what you are. One more card we have here. Closure. So through this whole process, so you are dealing with grief, right? Grief for whatever it is. There's a multitude of griefs of all different levels, and don't categorize any of them as minor, major, or not eventful in your life, because the smallest of repetitive, multiple grieving over different things can be a burden you carry. Grieving for the earth. People say, oh, the earth's stuffed, the earth's ruined. That causes grief. You've got to carry that and work with it. Let it go. The earth is in a total state of transformation. Your relationships, problems with them. You don't need to let go of all the best of you because of any relationships. Relationships can turn around, completely transform, and come back around. But if you keep repeating the same thing that had it stuck in the thing that didn't work, then it's going to stay there. So transformation of you allows transformation for others. You need to enable them by facing that within yourself and stop trying to kowtow to them. Stop trying to be what they want you to be to keep the status quo that doesn't work anymore. Now, you know it doesn't work anymore because the world is changing and shifting, and the old relationships that were a little bit on the codependent, toxic, or contemptuous, not very good, not healthy, they don't work anymore. Those people who used to enact that, or yourself even, if you were caught up in that programming, forgive yourself for it. Don't be hard on yourself if you were, because look, we're all in the same boat. And that forgiveness of yourself allows you to understand that they're in that boat too, and you can forgive them. The transformational process and the healing process requires no blame games. They just said no blame, because there's no gain in blame. There's nothing in it for you. But there certainly is the opportunity to transform and look clearly. Oh, wow, where'd that go? Looking through the lens of the clarity. See that crystal ball which like magnifies and makes clear certain points. Looking with clarity, you can see that those people are just caught in the same matrix of programming, social and oppressive social impressing upon you that you have to be like this and be like that. Now, some people absolutely are functioning within that and they don't know how to get out. And some people can be led out of it by people like yourself. So the transformational process and the clarity that comes from it is the clarity to see that getting caught up in those old romantic, they go say, romance and relationship dilemmas of ups and downs and blaming and this roller coaster ride story that, people have played out for thousands of years. That's old now. It doesn't apply, and you're really tired of it, aren't you? So however it works, it can be with parents, children, siblings, lovers, friends, anybody, bosses, who knows. We're also intertwined over the many lives. We've all been probably all of those things to each other. So it doesn't really matter anymore. But what you can know is that if you feel like you're trapped in a victim of somebody's not treating you nicely with contempt, or a little bit disrespectful, disregarding, not appreciating, or any of those things, abusing, whatever, just can be sure that in another life you may have played that role as well. So it might help you to forgive and let go of this whole blame game, which gives you no gain. So that's what they're saying. Transformation is to lift yourself up above it, come up high and look down with an overview of lightness, of freedom and liberation from all those stories that just don't give you anything, and you're just really worn out by them. And there is closure involved in this. Now, there's closure, but it's not always, everyone's got their own story. What you need to know is that the closure is about the closure of the blame game, the closure of the cyclic stories of victimhood, the cyclic stories of contempt, disrespect, shaming, and all that sort of stuff, the cyclic hanging on to reasons to treat somebody bad. You're closing that off. Now, I do feel like to say that you're the one who's walking away from those scenarios, and you are free. You are free to walk away from it. You're free because you're the one doing the transforming, and because you're the one who's probably been receiving a lot of that coming to you. And because you've been on the receiving end of this sort of thing, you actually are more liberated and more free to walk away from it, to transform and grow, because you're not the one who is willingly entrenched in the programming of those relationship behaviors that aren't healthy. The people who have sort of made themselves at home in that behavior have a harder time dealing with their own grief and self-reflection, dealing with their own lack of clarity, because they're not honestly seeing themselves and healing. And one of the problems they have is when they look at themselves, if they see they've been enacting toxic behavior that's unhealthy, they have to bear the pain and the grief of their own behavior. And then how do they deal with that? How do they not put that blame they've been putting on everybody else and that criticism on everybody else? When it comes back home to roost, it's very, very painful. Once again, they need no more blame, because they already have enough material to blame themselves for that they've created within. What they need is to get out into nature and balance and heal themselves. So there's no need to worry about anybody getting away with anything, because no one can escape their own behavior and how they feel about it, and eventually they have to face it. By bringing closure to your participation in that situation, you help to release them from that cycle going round and round and round. You don't reinforce it by playing that role of the victim within it. You don't reinforce it, and you allow transformation for everybody involved. You set them free from the cyclic behavior that they're just like on a mouse, on a little treadmill going round and round and round, and they think that's their life. They're doing it, they're achieving it because they're moving, because they're rolling forward, but they're not. They're in a cycle. So by you stepping out of it, you take the treadmill away and you allow them the time to just like, oh, well, how does that work now? They can't enact that onto anybody unless they try and start a new relationship in that nature, which may not work the same. So that's what the guides are advising, that this is a perspective, a new way to reflect upon your own situation. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, and I think that was jam-packed with information and something to reflect and consider. I thank you so much for your time and attendance to my video. I deeply appreciate, as do my guides, that if you want to help others to find it, you have to help support this video by liking it and subscribing if you would like to. There will be no other content on there other than these sorts of videos, and it's a new channel, so it doesn't really host ads. I don't know how YouTube works at the moment, but I don't have any advertising. I don't ask for money for anything, and I'm not selling anything else, and I'm not putting my work on any other platforms. I do have a website, but I'm not even bothering with that at the moment. So this is it. Okay, I wish you well. I hope this is helpful. The guides say they wish you well, and they encourage you to get in nature and commune, and to ask for some camaraderie from the spiritual world. Ask for support and help in all your moments where you feel it's a little bit heavy and difficult, because they are waiting and ready to help and support you. I will always say, my guides who are with me for my greater good at all times, I ask for your help. Always define who you're asking. There's an awful lot of individuals in the spiritual world. Outside of the conscious waking 3D and 4D world, there's lots. 4D, full of them. And they're not all for our greater good and well-being and development and happiness. You need to state that you only call those who are. Okay, I thank you and I wish you well. Bye-bye.